Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 43 of Buds and Blue Jays. I'm your host, Jesse Burrell, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Riley McConnell. And Riley, the All-Star break, it came, it went. We took a little bit of a break ourselves to recharge, and just like the Toronto Blue Jays, I'm hoping we come out swinging here hot in the second half.
Oh, baby. We're coming out swinging in the second half. The Jays are coming out swinging in the second half, dude. Man, it's an exciting time to be a Jays fan. There's a game going on right now. We're crushing it in that one too. We crushed it in the two games before, and lot to cover, man. Let's get into it.
Yeah, just a quick caveat, like you mentioned there, we are recording this with the third game of the series still going on. As things stand, the Jays are leading 8-4 in the bottom of the seventh. So hopefully we have some clarity before that ends here. But let's get into our series recap. Game one, the Blue Jays won this first game against the Boston Red Sox 28-5. Yes, you heard that right. 28-5. The Jays set a franchise record for runs and hits in a ball game. They were just 2 runs shy of setting the all-time record for runs in a game by a single team. Every single Blue Jay starter had at least 2 hits and 2 runs scored, and honestly, a great way to start the second half in that game. Then if you were worried the Jays gave up all their runs in the first game, they came out in game 2. Nah, they did it again. Jays won that game 4-1. They gave up 1 run in the second, but responded with 3 in the third, added some insurance in the ninth. Alek Manoah did his thing with 6 innings and only giving up 1 run, and Jordan Romano had a multi-out save to get his 21st of the season. And like we mentioned, game 3 currently live. Jays are winning 8-4 in the bottom of the 7th. Jays scored 5 in the first thanks to a clutch 2-outs hits from Cavan Biggio and Raimel Tapia. Stripling went 4 innings, and the bullpen is trying to piece it together from there. So the Jays come out of this All-Star break with either a series win or a sweep. We're kind of hoping for a sweep that the bullpen can hold things on here, and a record of 52-43. Jays are now in the second wildcard spot, half a game behind the Rays and 1 game ahead of the Seattle Mariners. Riley, a lot to unwind there, a lot to be said. What are your thoughts?
Oh, first of all, what are my thoughts? Game 1, we got the big boy for us coming back. We didn't know how he'd fare. Kevin Gausman. He comes out and gives us double-digit strikeouts on 5 innings pitched. You love to see it. We put up 28 runs, dude. If you asked me at the start of this year, hey Riley, how many runs do you think we're gonna score like in a game this year? What's the most? I'd say, I think 14 is a good number.
Yeah, we're not advocating to get that.
Hell no, man. Let's just double that, dude. Let's just double our runs. We almost got 30 runs. I believe there was a game in Texas or against Texas. I think it was Texas had 30 runs against the team. Or they
Baltimore,
got 30 runs
in Baltimore in 2007. Yeah.
That's okay. So, I mean, we were close. Happened in that game. Let's be honest. I did not expect that. And then yesterday, we only got 5 runs. I mean, poo-hoo. We gave up just 1 run off another tremendous Alek Manoah outing. And what else can you say about the guy? So we got the lead in this 8-4, like you said. And right now we are 2-0 after the All-Star break with a real good chance, Jesse, to come out with a series sweep. And I like what I'm seeing so far. I like a double-digit game, let alone 28 runs. And then I like how our starters are doing. And our bullpen is still, it seems to be doing all right. Like, I think Jordan Romano, a 4-out save to end the game yesterday. I mean, that's awesome, dude. It feels good right now.
Yeah, good stuff that you wanted to see coming off of the series, coming off the break. You wanted to see this team recharged and rejuvenated, and boy, does it sure look like it. Riley, let's go back to that game 1 of the series, the first game, because it was absolutely bananas watching that game. I'm pretty sure I fell off my couch laughing at one point. There's so much going on. We were having fun on the Buds and Blue Jays Twitter account as well there. I think you and I can kind of go back and forth here, and let's say like what our favorite moments of the games were, or if you have a favorite stat or something that you wanted to go off. And I think you should take it away first, because the most dramatic moment of that game was the Raimel Tapia grand slam. So tell me about it.
So for those of you who are listeners, watchers who don't actually watch the game, when we say Raimel Tapia home run at Fenway Park, you're probably thinking, oh, wow, maybe he took one over the left field wall, over the monster. Or
Pesky's pole, like he did earlier this year.
Pesky pole. But no, this is probably one of the weirdest grand slams and one of the weirdest games I've ever witnessed. I mean, it's a routine fly ball. The center fielder just completely lost it and decided to, not even a speed walk to the ball, left fielder picks it up, and man, Tapia has wheels. He scored with ease on a 4, I don't even, they scored, scored a grand slam, in my opinion. It's cheesy, but hey, for the numbers, you love it. For a Jays fan, you love it. And like Jesse said, you pretty much follow the piece that you're sitting on, man. I mean, it was a comical thing of events, but we needed to see that as Jays fans. We needed to see just a pounding, man. And we pounded the Red Sox in game 1, no doubt about it. The Tapia grand slam takes it for me, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, it is sure nice to go to Fenway against the Red Sox and just keep kicking the shit out of them. Like, it just feels so damn good. I got to give props to Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who had a 6-hit day. Riley, I remember earlier in the offseason when we were doing trivia, you asked me who was the only Blue Jay to have 6 hits in the game. The answer was Frank Catalanato, but now we have another one joining that list as Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has 6 hits. And he was the first one to do it without hitting a single ball to the pull side. All 6 of his hits were either straight up the middle or opposite field. So that was pretty cool. I guess that fruit cocktail he was making on the bench led to some hits or something. Great work from Gurriel. I do have 3 stats I want to share about that game too that just, the Jays scored 28 runs, offense explosion. They're going to make you say, wow. Jays hit 506, 556, 12-11 as a team in that game. There are 11 runs in the 5th inning, ties a team record for runs in an inning. The Blue Jays run differential in their first 93 games of the season was plus 24. And in one game, they nearly doubled it by winning by 23 runs in that game. And Kevin Gausman went from being 50th in qualified baseball in run support to 6th in the span of just one start. So those are some of my favorite stats. If there's anything else you had from that game, take it away. But I said, wow, after those things.
Wow. If you asked me in a 28-run explosion who has the 5+ RBIs, I probably would have said Bo Lourdes Teo. But let's go 5 or 6 RBIs. Raimel Tapia, 6 runs batted in, 1 off the grand slam we were talking about. Lourdes, 6 hits, 5 RBIs to his credit. And Danny Jansen had 6 RBIs and 6 ABs on a 3-hit performance as well.
Just ridiculous.
I mean, I love it for Danny Jansen, dude. Had he not been injured, he's backing up in the All-Star game. I know they had him at DH, but that tandem of catchers right there. I mean, I absolutely love Jansen. I've been spitting this out. He was a big part of that game. Not that we even needed his runs batted in, but Danny Jansen is something special too. And we just put it all together in that game, man. Absolutely love to see it. Yeah,
going back on Danny Jansen, I was going to save this for a little later in the episode, but I'll get to it now. So Danny Jansen has been injured a lot of this year, but in the limited time he's played, he has 9 home runs, right? So Aaron Judge leads Major League Baseball in home runs with 36. If Danny Jansen had as many at-bats as Aaron Judge and kept up the pace he's hitting, Danny Jansen would have 44 home runs right now. Which, if you're like, Aaron Judge is one of the elite power hitters in the league. Danny Jansen would have him beat by, what, my math, 8 home runs if he kept up this pace. And he's 6 ahead of Kyle Schwarber, too. So he'd be 14 over second place. Like, absolute tremendous power that Danny Jansen has had. And I'm excited to see him go in the second half here.
And at the end, that's, the first half. 44, I believe that Sal Perez actually set the record for a catcher.
48 just last year.
With 48 just last year, beating out guys like Pudge Rodriguez, Johnny Bench, whoever. 44. So if my math is correct, he'd have around 70. He'd probably be in Bonds McGuire territory, and there's no way Danny Jansen is juiced. But no, it's crazy stats, dude. I love Danny Jansen in this lineup, and I love what the lineup did. Guys who we didn't mention, Espinal, Vladdy, whoever, still put on a performance in that game, man. It was every cog in the wheel was turning, and we put up some. When they say crooked numbers, these were crooked numbers.
I mean, is 11 a crooked number? Really? 2 ones? I don't know. It's I guess so.
28 is just murder. It's just we slaughtered the Red Sox in game 1.
Absolutely great stuff there. I wanted to touch, we're not going to do our traditional thumbs up, thumbs down here because like you said, look how good our offense was in the first game. You touched on the pitching performance of Stripling, Manoah. I do want to throw Manoah a little bit of love there. Going back to the All-Star game when he threw a clean inning, he hit a guy, but he also struck out 3 and he was mic'd up for the game. I'm sure you saw this. If you're on the internet, you've seen these things. And I like the little things of Alek Manoah saying, bye you, as I whip a fastball past you and all that stuff. Like that's king stuff from Alek Manoah. And he carried it over to his start against the Boston Red Sox here too. He struck out Bobby Dahlbeck in the 4th, and Manoah just shouted, "Why don't you go sit down, bitch?" And that's just GOAT level stuff from Alek Manoah. And I'm just so glad he's on our team because he is so fun to watch and to root for when he's going like this.
Oh, Manoah's been crazy, and you know what? He faced 4 batters, struck out 3. I'm going to blame the hit by pitch that he gave up to the 3rd batter, Jeff McNeil, on John Smoltz. He told him to throw a slider inside, make him swing swing low and into the ball, and he hit him with, he called for they called a back foot slider, where it pretty much goes behind your back foot through the strike zone, but he hit him in the front foot. I'm gonna throw that on Smoltzy, a Hall of Fame pitcher, whatever, that's fine. But Alek Manoah, terrific performance, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. More thumbs up as we go. We're going to hope the bullpen can nail this down in game 3. And we hope we're talking about a sweep. Let's see how that goes. Riley, we're going to take more of a big picture here view. And it's almost trade deadline season. Trade deadline's the first week of August. So we're not even 2 weeks away from the deadline. Now that the general managers are past the draft, they're really focusing on making trade deadline acquisitions for this team. And the big one that's coming out is Juan Soto has turned down a massive contract extension from the Washington Nationals. So all signs seems to be that they are going to trade the 23-year-old superstar. There were some comments made at the All-Star game. I remember Santiago Espinal going up to him and saying something along the lines of, "Come over and play with us. You'll look better in blue." And I'm sure you might have seen on Instagram that Vladdy commented on a Photoshop picture of Soto in a Blue Jays jersey with a couple fire emojis. So, Riley, my question to you, should the Blue Jays trade for Juan Soto? And if you think they are, what should we give up to get him?
What should we give up? I would say if I had it my way, I'd trade the Nationals a box of peanuts,
of course,
which is not going to happen. To get Juan Soto, you're going to have to give up our top 2, at least maybe top 3 guys in our pipeline system, and 2 starters, not pitchers, just starting position players.
Right.
I would probably target down a Bo Bichette, would maybe be one of those guys that could go, or Lourdes. My only fear, Jesse, is at or before the deadline. There are teams in this division, aka the New York Yankees, that had a similar situation with Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
Judge maybe not in the pinstripes. So, I mean, I'm more worried about I don't care. Like, I do care if we get a guy like Soto. I would hate to give up a great price, but I'm more terrified, Jesse, if Soto goes to the Yankees and we get to see him in pinstripes, because that is a terrifying thought.
There is talk, too, that Tampa is really interested in Juan Soto, because remember, they were in on the Freddie Freeman trade rumors this offseason and stuff. They thought they could get him, and if Juan Soto ends up in Tampa, that could be a struggle. But they don't usually like to pay their guys. My thought is this. Man, Juan Soto and as a Toronto Blue Jay would look awesome. It would be great to see him, Vlad, and if we can keep Bo in the package, like the 3 of them, this lineup is already probably the best in baseball. It would be even better if we can keep Juan Soto around in here. But the team really does need pitching, right? And that's kind of the thing that's keeping us down from not having an even better record where we are now. Juan Soto doesn't acquire pitching. And if we're going to trade the package that the Nationals want for him, we're probably trading Gabriel Moreno, Ricky Tiedemann, and probably some young guys, probably Teoscar or Lourdes Gurriel Jr. off of our roster, if not Kirk even. And I don't think the Jays want to do that. So it's going to be a lot to get him. And if we are going to move these pieces, I think it's smart that the Jays should use those to get pitching, the things that are going to help this core right now win the World Series this year. And yes, Juan Soto is great. He would, that's another cog in this already great lineup, and it would be so fun to root for, but I just don't think they're going to do it. And plus, if you do sign Juan Soto, that's a major big contract you have to give to Vlad, to Bo Bichette, and to Juan Soto. And I really, really doubt the team is going to want to give 3 massive 10-year extensions, hundreds of millions of dollars to all 3 of these players to keep them here. And if that's the case, you're going to let them leave in free agency. This team is going to be set for a hard rebuild if we do not win a World Series with this core in piece. So I'm kind of torn. I would love to see Soto in a Blue Jays jersey, but I just don't think it's going to ultimately end up happening. And I'm kind of with you. I'm afraid he might end up in the wrong hands somewhere.
I think the rumor mill too with that, Jesse, with the Soto package, I think there's talks too that we would have to absorb an already existing contract.
Yeah, like Patrick Corbin probably.
Patrick Corbin or Strasburg was another name. I don't know if Strasburg is, I believe, on the 60-day IL right now.
I think he's done for the year. Yeah,
and he's probably done for the year. I think that Corbin has never been an elitist for me. He certainly had waves of excellence. Strasburg, I believe that his better days are far behind him. The velocities dropped significantly since he was a 22, 23-year-old starting pitcher for the Nationals. And he's aging, obviously. I mean, there was a time where wrong side of 30. I remember when he came into the league and he was he could throw smoke, and he was, I think, a first overall pick. So, I mean, a declining guy like that, if he was a good arm, maybe, but I just don't trust it. There's a lot that could go wrong in that trade, Jesse, and especially with guys like Lourdes that is now batting north of 300 and had, 5-6 hits. If he keeps that up, I mean, I mean, I don't think he's going to go for a batting title, but certainly hitting over 300, 305 in this day and age is a very big accomplishment. And I feel like the pieces we have right now that aren't starting pitching is what we got to rock with.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same board with you here. Part of me really wants it, but part of me, I kind of understand why we wouldn't. So we'll see what happens there. And plus, I do want to say I made a lot of money this year betting against Patrick Corbin when he's been pitching. I've been betting the over in every single one of his games, and I think I've only missed once or twice. So it's thank you, Patrick Corbin. Keep doing what you're doing, but hopefully not for the Blue Jays here.
Please gamble responsibly.
Yes, of course. Moving on to some news and notes, Riley. Raimel Tapia was not the only person in the Blue Jays system to hit an inside the park grand slam this year. It also happened on June 4th for the Buffalo Bisons. And can you name the Bison player who did it?
Oh, man. Put me on the spot.
I am putting you on the spot.
You wacky guy watching these Buffalo, New Hampshire games. This was in June 4th, you said?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it was that first base left fielder you were talking about.
No, he wasn't called up yet. He was. You saw
Aurelvis Martinez.
No, he's in New Hampshire. He's not quite made it to Buffalo yet. It's a guy we saw a lot in spring training. Nathan Lucas. He was the one who hit inside the park grand slam. He pulled the ball to the right center field gap. The right fielder dove for it, missed it. Ball went all the way to the fence, and Nathan Lucas sped, ran around. So the Blue Jays got an inside the park grand slam, and now the Buffalo Bisons got an inside the park grand slam. It feels great.
Yeah, I mean, hey, they're great. Kind of, stats you should know but don't care about, which is cool. Hey, as long as we're winning ball games, and right now at the major league level, man, we're winning these ball games.
Yep. Sergio Romo has been designated for assignment and declined his minor league assignment. So Sergio Romo is now a free agent. So you can say RIP to the Sergio Romo era in Toronto. Yusei Kikuchi has begun a rehab assignment with Buffalo, and he pitched 5 innings, gave up 2 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. He gave up all 3 of his walks in the first 2 innings and then settled down and looked good for the next 3. So that just seems your typical Yusei Kikuchi start, right? He looks terrible for 2 or 3 innings, and then you see the glimpses of how he can look really good. And overall, he doesn't give up a lot of hits, but he gives up a lot of base runners. Strikeout numbers are there. It doesn't sound like he's changed to me, but it seems like the Blue Jays are going to skip his first turn in the rotation here, and that leaves the next opening spot for next Saturday against the Tigers, and that might be the time we see Yusei Kikuchi rejoin this rotation.
Yeah, with Yusei Kikuchi, man, I mean, that's par for us right now is watching 7 walks or 5 walks or even 4 walks in the first 3 innings. He's definitely started off his starts very slow and has gotten better, I feel like, in the 4th inning or around that. But when you got to get pulled after you give up 4 runs over 2 innings,
That's the thing, yeah.
He hasn't done a good job at limiting base runners. I won't even say great job. He's actually done a very poor job at limiting guys on base because of his high walk rate. And yeah, he seems to have been giving up the long ball too. So keeping him down in AAA right now, maybe to refurbish his stuff a little bit, because I think the 4 strikeouts sounds good. I'm still not a fan of the 3 walks, 4 strikeouts and 3 walks. That base on balls to K ratio or K to base on balls ratio, just that still doesn't sit good with me, man. It's not a great ratio for a MLB starting pitcher playing in AAA.
And a guy who's before this year he has never been an elite control pitcher, but it's been a new level this year. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just got his 4th hit of the game here in the top of the 8th inning. So Vladdy's heating up. You love to see that. Good call from Isaac on one of our last show that he's going to really turn it around. The Blue Jays have we've signed a right-handed pitcher, Vinny Natoli from New York. Since the month of May, he's thrown to a 1.61 ERA with 33 strikeouts in 28 innings for the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Yankees. So he's reported to Buffalo, but just another name. Keep in mind, he might pitch in the bullpen this year. The Blue Jays have made a bid to get the 2027 All-Star Game in Rogers Center after some potential renovations are made to the stadium. And I know you and I have spent a good chunk of time at the Rogers Center, and boy, we are excited for renovations. And if it leads to an All-Star Game in 2027, let's go. Let's get you and me into that celebrity all-star game by the time 2027 rolls around.
Oh, hell yeah, man. And subscribe, all that stuff. Let's get us in the 2027 all-star game. That'd be amazing. They pull the fences in for us. Yep. And I bet you if I'm calling my shot now, I bet you I'll go yard on one. I'll be throwing, I might even catch a couple innings. If we got like Jesse Finch in there, one of the best females, imagine that just playing baseball. I talked about this. I don't care about the celebrities, whoever the best rapper is. Like, I like the old actors, Bryan Cranston, J.K. Simmons there. I'd be hanging with those old boys, picking their brains, or hanging with the female softball players who know more about baseball and could kick my butt in baseball any day, dude. It's an amazing experience. It's fun to watch that, man. Baseball is a great sport to interact with people.
Sure is.
And I'd love to have it in Toronto, man, whether I'm watching it, in the stands or at home, or maybe the 0.001% chance I get to participate in that game. I mean, I think I have more likelihood of being struck by lightning. Well, let's see what happens.
That's the official goal now of Buds and Blue Jays, is that we are going to be in a celebrity softball game in 2027. Let's go. Let's make that happen.
Hashtag send the Buds 2027.
Yeah, love that. Get that trending. All right. Some more positive news and notes. Mark Budzinski has returned to the team. He is back coaching first base, and his role at the team has remained unchanged, coaching the outfield as well. Good to see that the Blue Jays have picked up since Mark Budzinski has come back. And even better news, Riley, our friend Buck Martinez will be back this Tuesday at home for the series against the St. Louis Cardinals. So welcome back, Buck Martinez. I know we're very glad to have you, and welcome back to you as well, Mark Budzinski.
I mean, to both those, I love scoring 28 runs in a game, Jesse, but to have Mark Budzinski back and to have Buck back, I take that any day of the week over a 20-run game. I really do. Both part of the Blue Jays family. Absolutely love having them both back. And and Jamie Campbell too, still recovering. Still wishing thoughts out with Jamie, but once he's back too, we'll have the whole family back and just to be like where things left off, and hopefully they can enjoy this winning season that we're about to just unravel the rest of this Vlad movie, because we hit that part where the bad guy starts to do, starts to overcome.
Starts to look like he's winning.
Now we're kicking butt, man. Let's bring it. We're bringing heat, baby.
Superhero John Schneider to the rescue to save Vlad out of peril and come back and lift this Blue Jays team into what should be, or at least we're hoping for, a championship season. Can't wait to see it. It kind of feels now like the Blue Jays baseball we know and love is coming back. I hate to say that after, one big series win against the Red Sox, but it really does feel like a new team since John Schneider took over here. And I can't wait for the rest of this summer.
We needed that rest. Yes, there were a plethora of guys who didn't. Kirk was in the All-Star game, Vlad, Manoah, Espinal, they still had some downtime. For the rest of the crew, they obviously needed that rest, man, because I think we took 4 or 5 days off, and there's where that 28 runs came from. It was over the span of those days we took off, and I thought, well, if we average about 6 runs in those games, we can just tally them on the first game of that against the Red Sox.
Makes sense. Sounds good to me. We got some prospect notes here. Ricky Tiedemann, the Blue Jays' top pitching prospect, will be joining the New Hampshire Fisher Cats rotation. Not bad for a 19-year-old. We've talked about him lots and the numbers he can put up here. Some other prospects and notes. Catcher Zach Britton is up to AAA. He's joining New Hampshire, as well as infielder Tyler Keenan is joining New Hampshire as well. Desan Brown, who's a speedy outfielder, is moving up to High A. He's going from Dunedin to Vancouver. Right-handed pitcher Yosver Zuleta, who we've talked a little bit about. He's been one of the sneaky arms in our system here. He's going to make 1 or 2 starts before he gets the call up to Buffalo. And there's a good chance if he succeeds there that he could end up joining the bullpen at some point this year. He's got nasty stuff, like a sinker slider guy. And right-handed pitcher Hayden Junger will move up to Buffalo from New Hampshire. Now he's got an ERA of about 4, but he's got good strikeout and walk numbers. He's got a mid-90s fastball, a good slider. And I think if his time in Buffalo goes well too, you could see him in the rotation or the bullpen, at some point this August.
We don't give enough credit to the whips and strikeout walk ratios. ERA is kind of a funny stat. Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you give up big hits when guys are on base, then that happens. You inflate your ERA a little bit. We see it with relief pitchers, especially. But yeah, at the minor leagues, doesn't really tell me a lot, dude. What I like to hear is he's got nasty stuff and he strikes guys out, but limits his walks. That's what you want to hear, dude. That's going to get you places, man. So let's wait and see what happens. We still got lots of time of the year. We're knocking on the door of August. September call-ups will be just around the corner in the month after. So yeah, a lot of moves still could be made. I mean, you're probably going to have to break out a 10-minute episode of our farm, come September, all your news and notes you have to read about transactions and transitions.
Well, we'll see. Let's get through the trade deadline first. Let's see how many of these guys are still with the team here. Jays have come to a deal with second-round pick Cade Doherty, and it sounds like Tucker Tolman, who we took 77th overall, is coming to a deal here as well. And I don't know for sure, but I heard somewhere that our first-round pick, Barriera there, has also signed a deal with the team. Pretty much above slot for Barriera, but pretty much on slot for Tucker Tolman and for Cade Doherty. So they are now going to be prospects in the system. Keep those names in the memory bank. We'll talk about them in a few years to go. And with that being said, Riley, the Toronto Blue Jays will now open a 2-game. We're coming back home. We're going to open a 2-game series against the St. Louis Cardinals. I remember we went to St. Louis earlier this year and we played them. Danny Jansen was good. I remember, I think it was Baraki who struggled, gave up a home run to Paul Goldschmidt there. But good news is we don't have to worry about Paul Goldschmidt in this series, as it was reported that him, Nolan Arenado, and catcher Austin Romine are not vaccinated against COVID-19. So they will not be making the trip up to Toronto to face the Blue Jays. Game 1 is going to be Jose Barrios against Andre Pallante, and Game 2 will be Kevin Gausman against Adam Wainwright. So Riley, 2-game series against the Cardinals. What are we expecting here?
Well, I was expecting to get hit around by maybe an MVP caliber player in Goldschmidt. So that's not happening. Whew, that's good. And Arenado, whatever, that might be one of the better corner infields in all of baseball. And the first guy for St. Louis, I don't know much about him, but I think
Austin Romine, he's a catcher. He caught for the Yankees.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Now that makes sense. He's got a brother, I think, too. Anyways, but yeah, Adam Wainwright's on the very wrong side of 30, as you would say. Yes. And I think he's a guy we could get to early, hit him hard. And, I'm just going to say put up runs. I won't even put a number on it.
You're not going to say 28, 29, 30?
No, at this point, that ceiling has been touched. I mean, for the rest of our lives, I don't know if they'll even score that many runs ever again. So let's celebrate that and just hope. I mean, it's a 2-game series. Let's just bang, beat these ones off and get her going. Does
the hot streak continue, Riley? Do we take them both? Do we split them? Do we lose them both? Man. What are we thinking?
Wow. First of all, give me an update here. Is it still 8-4?
8-4. There's 2 out. Kevin Biggio's up with a runner on first and second.
We're going to win this. We're going to win this game, and we're going to go back home, and we're going to get the 2-game sweep, and we'll be 5-0 after the All-Star break. And I believe we won our last 2, so that would put us on a 7-game win streak.
If they win today, it's 6, and then if we win the next 2, I believe that's 8. So let's go on a 14-game win streak of our own, like Seattle did.
Let's do that and beyond. Let's see what we can do, but we'll make things happen, man. I feel like the Cardinals is a team that we got to get to. Same with the Red Sox. That was a great way to get things going in this weekend series. And we're going back home, and we're hot. We're red hot, and we're facing an interleague team. And I think we're going to do just fine, Jesse. I'm saying we take 2-2. Little 2-game series sweep.
Love it. That'll do it for our episode here today, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Big things are coming from us in the second half. We're feeling the Blue Jays are going to do some big things. We know they're definitely going to be busy at the trade deadline, which is coming up here quicker than you know it. We're going to be there to react to it all. We want you guys there to react to it all. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. Buckle up, Jays fans. Like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And yeah, can't wait. Riley, anything else to add before we leave here today?
Hashtag send the buds. 2027.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, can't wait. Hashtags are supposed to be short, right? You don't want a huge long one. We got to draw attention, right? That's the way it goes. Thanks a lot, guys. Hope you guys are as hyped as me and Jesse. This has been great. As always, guys, thanks for watching us, and let's go Blue Jays.
Good stuff. We'll see you after the Cardinal series to talk about it then. See you then.
Thanks, guys.